The art of war. In addition to fighting, the art of war can also be used in interpersonal relationships, and it is more used to protect oneself. It is more important to protect yourself. Sun Tzu said, "Those who are good at fighting are the first to be invincible." There are 13 chapters in total: plan, battle, plan to attack, shape, potential, reality and emptiness, military struggle, 9 changes, march, terrain, 9 places, fire attack, and use spies. Count, battle plan. Soldiers are deceitful, so they can show that they can't, and soldiers never tire of deceit. It means that we must never let the other party know what we can do and what we cannot do, otherwise we will get into trouble. As long as there is war, they are defrauding each other. Combat, therefore, those who kill the enemy are angry, and those who take advantage of the enemy are goods. It means that if your own soldiers kill the opponent's soldiers, you have to give him spiritual rewards, such as giving him the title of God of War, first-class general. If your soldiers rob other people's property, you have to give him the same material rewards. Rewards are very important. Pay attention to the preferences of soldiers. Don't force the poor. This is the way to use troops. If the outcome has already been determined, don't force people to death. That will lead to death and rebirth, and killing them quickly is the strategy of the strategists. Conspiracy to attack. Know yourself and the enemy. You will never be imperiled in 100 battles. You will never be tired if you know yourself. You will win and lose once. You will never be tired if you don't know yourself. You will be imperiled in every battle. Therefore, the law of using soldiers is to encircle them if they are 10, attack them if they are 5 times, and fight them if they are twice as many as you can defend. This sentence means that if our strength is 10 times or 5 times that of the opponent, we will kill the opponent directly and be done. If you are weaker than the enemy, then don't fight, and try to avoid making big gains with small ones. As long as you think that the enemy's troops may be stronger than ours, as long as you think that the enemy has factors that are stronger than ours, don't beat yourself up, strong needle, because defeat is defeat. To be victorious in 100 battles is not to be good, and to subdue the enemy's soldiers without fighting is to be good. This saying says that winning 100 battles is worse than subduing the opponent without fighting, and it is better to win without fighting than to be able to fight. The first is to attack the enemy, the second is to attack the enemy, the second is to attack the soldiers, and the second is to attack the city. If you must fight, the best strategy is to use strategy to defeat the opponent. For example, our life is like this now. When someone attacks you, annoys you, hates you, tortures you, he has his purpose. As long as you dissolve, his purpose can turn the enemy into a friend. If the enemy wants to seize your things, you have to disperse his strength and try to defeat them one by one. Make yourself as strong as possible to gain the strength of the opponent. The worst strategy is to fight. Attack other people's hard cities. In the past, those who were good fighters first fought for the invincible, and waited for the enemy to be victorious. The invincible lies in oneself, and the victorious lies in the enemy. In the past, people who were good at fighting put themselves in an invincible position first, and then waited for the enemy's opportunity. Therefore, whether they can defeat the enemy depends on the enemy's defense, and whether they lose depends on their own defense. First of all, ensure that you are undefeated. You can win without fighting, and you can also be undefeated without fighting. Potential. Governing a large army is as effective as a small army depends on organization, structure, and organization. Commanding a large army is as effective as a small army, and attacking the enemy is as easy as hitting a stone. The key is to attack the virtual with the actual. The position cannot be messed up. People who are good at mobilizing the enemy's army reveal true or false military information to the enemy, and give the opponent some actual benefits as bait. On the one hand, it lures the enemy with benefits, and on the other hand, it is ready to fight. A good fighter pursues a favorable situation. False, false. The shape of a soldier is like water. The water moves to avoid heights and tends to go down. The shape of soldiers avoids the solid and strikes the weak. That is to say, when we transport troops, we must move like flowing water, not attacking others' hard places, but only attacking others' weak places, avoiding or bypassing all hard places. Those who can win due to the changes of the enemy are called gods. The battle between the enemy and the enemy is changing rapidly, and the combat plan must be constantly changed to cope with different changes. Military struggle, it is as swift as the wind, as slow as the forest, as plundering as fire, immovable as a mountain, difficult to know as shadow, and moving as thunder. When attacking, it must be as fast as the wind, and avoid the opponent's hard defense. It must penetrate in, and the marching deployment must be like a forest, neat and quiet. When setting up an army, it must be as solid as a mountain, and the defense must be done well. The information of one's own side must be hidden from the enemy. Feng Huolei belongs to offense, fast, ruthless and imposing. Lin Shanyin belongs to defense, as quiet as a mountain. It is hard to be discovered by the enemy. Use time, use spies, and spies are divided into 5 types: cause time, inner time, anti-time, death time, and lifetime. The reason is to use the people of the enemy's country as their own spies. Although such spies cannot collect useful information, they are easy to conceal and outnumber enemy soldiers, and the number can be large. Niejian uses enemy officials to collect intelligence, but the possibility of exposure is high. This person is the enemy himself, so it is called Niejian. The opposite is to use the other party's spies as your own spies. The dead room is the person sent by our side to the enemy to spread false information inside. Once the person who is sent there is found, he will die, so it is called the dead room. The dead room is not allowed to come back without authorization except until it is completed. Task. In his life, he was a spy who went to the enemy's camp to investigate intelligence, and had to return to his own camp, but he would die if he was discovered. Do everything possible to know the enemy's information. Do everything possible to prevent the enemy from knowing our information, our strength. This is the key to winning the war.